let's see what we got. All right, see if I can get set the camera here. There we go. All right, that looks better. Waiting 20 seconds. Tickety tock, tickety tock, tickety tock, tickety tock. I saw a flash. Nope, not yet. 35 seconds. Still waiting. I'm here. Come on, YouTube. Today. There we go. Finally. 45 seconds tonight. Okay. Let's see. Krista, Heather, Holly, John, Jacob, Country Humans, HJS. I got that email from you, HJS. That was awesome. Prep Rebel, Kilo to Bravo, Circe, Beautiful Day, New York Budget Prepper. Cool. We got a bunch of guys. Happy Saturday night. Okay. Just more fun. So I guess big Trump rally today up in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, which is interesting. Kamala Harris is probably crapping her pants going, holy crap, I only had 109 people show up yesterday, and he packed the place again. Still watching all this. I don't know, maybe you guys find it interesting. For the life of me, I cannot believe that the polls, the betting markets, whatever it is, are remotely close to right. I just can't wrap my finger around it. Now, granted, where I am, it's extremely red. It's not like I'm going to see a Biden-Harris bumper sticker or something like that around. I mean, I was in Knoxville today, and even blue Knoxville, I wasn't seeing them. Now, not that I was driving up and down subdivisions looking for signs or anything like that. I was mostly on the highway, but didn't see any bumper stickers and stuff like that, where around here you will see the bumper stickers, the bumper magnets, whatever it is, or stuff all over the place that says, Trump. There was one that was kind of funny. It was, it said Trump 24, Trump Vance, and then there was a BLM sticker in the upper right-hand corner. And we looked at it and we're like, that doesn't make sense. And then we got to a stoplight and got close enough where we could read it. It says, Biden loves minors. I was like, okay, I get it. But yeah, that was what it was around here. I mean, there's no question. I mean, nobody ever campaigns in Tennessee because don't need to. You're not flipping it blue, and it's not like anybody's not going to vote red. I don't care about Trashville or anything like that. They don't. This isn't Illinois. One city does not determine it. Memphis and Nashville can vote blue all they want. The rest of the state says right here. So that was about that. But other than that, it's been a fun couple of days around here. Been busy. Finally bottled up all that grape wine yesterday, so I got 14 liters of that. So that was nice. Canned up a whole bunch of tomato sauce yesterday. Finally getting tomatoes that didn't have blossom end rot on them. That was nice. So probably got, I don't know, 20 pounds of tomatoes yesterday, and there's only so much you can eat. It's the same thing as like making the wines. It's like, what do you do with all this when you get it? I mean, Mrs. P's like, okay, we got more tomatoes coming in. Maybe I'll dehydrate the next ones. Because, I mean, I've got stuffed peppers and stuffed cabbage and chili and God knows what. It's like, okay, so we'll make tomato sauce, just straight tomato sauce, not spaghetti sauce. I mean, we already made, what's over there, probably 21 quarts of salsa. I mean, how much salsa do you eat? Damn fly wasn't around. So, just keep putting it away, keep putting it away, keep putting it away. And of course, I look at my kitchen table here as I'm sitting at the kitchen table. And, it looks like the National Guard Armory sitting over here from everything that I've been working on. You guys saw that yesterday, setting up some rifles and some weaponry and just doing some maintenance, a lot of cleaning. Even if you don't go out and fire a weapon for a while, guys, you need to clean it. Again, like everything else, probably about every 6 months. Relube it. It gets dusty. You don't want parts, I mean, if there's any moisture, I mean, I'm in Tennessee. It's humid here. You don't want to worry about any rust. Look at this damn fly. Uh, you're gonna piss me off. But all right. Yes, we do clean the house. Trust me, it's just a fly in the house. But yeah, you do need to clean weapons and things like that. It's again, it's a tool. It's like anything else. You maintain it, and because there's gonna be a time when you need it. I feel like Mike Pence. Yeah, as long as he doesn't land on my nose, right? Uh, there's going to be a time when you need it, so you want to make sure it works. So, I mean, at least going and checking everything to do it. So, I've got a couple more videos that are in the works on similar ideas. I know a lot of you enjoy the political videos and some of the current event stuff, but I know that's not everything. Okay. And so I try to come up with other things as I'm doing them. It's like, okay, maybe I'll talk about this. And I know some of them are things that maybe I talked about 2 years ago, and you're like, oh, yeah, I remember when he did something like this. Okay. There's a lot of new people on the channel in the last 2 years, so maybe they didn't see the old ones. So that's fine. So again, like I've said a million times, if it's something that's interesting, watch. If it's not, move on. It doesn't bother me. Trust me. I get it. Okay. I don't need to be. I love all the comments. I thought this was a prepping channel. I could get on here every day and go, buy beans and rice. Let me come up with 10, 12 minutes to talk about why you need to buy beans and rice. Hi, it's Tuesday. Buy beans and rice. I don't need to tell most people that. If you're watching this channel, you've probably figured that part out already. I try to get into some of the more thinking man's type things to do. So, and hey, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's fine. No big deal. So, all right. So let's go on and move on. Oh, yeah. I have another magazine I got to load. Shit, just saw I got an empty one over here. Okay, let's get into some Q&A here. And as per normal, if you got questions for me, please put them in all caps. Just makes life easier to get through the live stream quicker, more efficiently. I can see what you guys are asking me. Feel free to have conversations amongst yourselves. I encourage it. I'm not the only one here that's going to teach you how to do something good. Everybody in here knows something. Some better, some worse, some know more than me, some know less than me, some know way more than me on some topics. Sometimes I've got the answer, sometimes I don't. Okay. I've never professed to having all the answers. I never will. I learn a boatload of stuff from you guys, and it helps. So please feel free to have conversations amongst yourselves. If I can't answer a question, maybe somebody else can. Especially if it's a question on okra, because I'm not going to be able to give you any answers on it. Ask Robert. Go flood his shorts on asking him questions about okra. I gotta get back at you, brother. So, but yeah, feel free. The only thing I do require is that everybody treat each other in here civilly, politely. Okay. Disagreement is fine. Just do it politely. I don't think that's too big of an ask for anybody. Okay. The moderators know real well if you're going to be a PIA, you're going to be BYE. So let's get into the top and see what we got. And I got a feeling we're going to have some wild questions tonight with everything that's going on. So, which is fun. The crazy questions sometimes are a lot of fun too. Sometimes you get my dander rough. Let's go. All right. Susan Lathrop didn't know he was going to be up here in Wilkes-Barre. He was only an hour from me. Yeah, it was a big rally today. It was the return trip to Pennsylvania. So, and they have said, this came out yesterday, in case you guys saw, Trump is going to start doing outdoor rallies again because the campaign has been pissed off, saying, Secret Service, this is your job. Okay, if you can't do your job, we'll replace you. And when you get venues that only can hold 8,000, 10,000 people, and you've got 40 that show up, Trump's like, I want these people not to be outside. They came to hear this. So I guess the latest is he's going to be giving outdoor rallies, but they're going to have bulletproof glass in front of them. So, the Pope mobile around the presidential candidates. You know, Kamala Harris doesn't have to worry about it. 109 people showing up to her rally yesterday. I think the Secret Service, even if they're not out, excuse me, I've got to go breastfeed my baby, which that actually happened the other day. I think they can manage. It probably only take about 20 of them. You figure they could screen 109 people. Let's see. Kathy Acevedo, we just got back from Puerto Rico and saw a commercial for EcoFlow generators. I never saw one before. Oh, never saw a commercial. Okay. I'm like, wait a minute, how'd you never see it? Okay, if you're brand new to the channel, I'll give you that. It doesn't surprise me. The issue that Puerto Rico's got, and you think with everything that they had happen, I mean, what is this? We can go back, I don't know how many years ago already. It's what, 7, 8 years ago? Don't quote me on this, right? But when they got decimated down there and the power was out on the entire island, the people of Puerto Rico were going, okay, we can't count on our government, we can't count on the grid, et cetera, et cetera. And everybody wants to make Puerto Rico a state. It's like, well, gee, you're Democrat. You can't count on your government. Get a clue. So the people have been trying to do the solar thing all over the place. And the problem that the people in Puerto Rico have is the shipping to Puerto Rico. See, and you wonder why when I tell you we're doing a giveaway that it's continental US only. You can't put a solar generator on a plane. It has to go via cargo ship. And there's not a whole lot of cargo ships that are running down to Puerto Rico. Now, maybe you could have a private skiff or whatever that's going, but gee, you know what? You don't think the Coast Guard is looking at small boats going between anywhere in the Caribbean, Miami, for example. That's the problem. You can't ship these things there. And, sure, they're made in China. How do they come to the United States? Slow boat from China. They're coming on ships. And most of the packages from the United States to Puerto Rico are going on planes. There's not a whole lot of call for mail, if you will. I mean, sure, you've got produce and groceries that are going on barges that are going across to get it. That gets extremely expensive. So maybe EcoFlow has said, hey, here's a market that nobody else can get into. Maybe they've figured out some way to do it. So good. I'm glad that somebody is trying to service them. Blackjack says hello from Texas. Hello back to you from Tennessee. Let's see. Heather Bray, eat all the salsa, send it here. We have a salsa issue in this house. Okay. Mrs. P and I like different types of salsa. I like the chunky hot salsa. That's what I like. She likes the run it through a blender mild salsa. So you can imagine we make the run it through a blender mild salsa. Happy wife, happy life, right? Okay. And if I want it a little hotter, I'll put some Cholula in it or something like that, or maybe I'll throw some extra jalapenos in there and I'm good. But the salsa we have around here is usually more or less like what you get in a restaurant. A lot of restaurants where they serve chips and salsa, at least around here. That's what they serve. But we use it for more than just because we can't eat the chips now. So, but I mean, in the past, we've used it as spaghetti sauce, which is really good. Use it over meatballs, which is really good. So it's salsa because it's peppers and onions and garlic and tomatoes and vinegar. but we almost use it more like a condiment than anything else. So, Rock, do I have any plans to change anything in your life if Kamala wins? Here's the deal. You're a prepper, okay? Everything I've done is in case Kamala wins. If Trump wins, okay, and I'm going to give you this, and maybe you're going to agree with me, maybe you're not. I really don't care who wins in November. I do. I mean, I want Trump to win, obviously. Okay. I don't think it's going to make a difference because if Kamala wins, the government is going to destroy the country. If Trump wins, the people on the left are going to destroy the country. Either way, we're going to have to fight our way out of this. Okay. I've said a million times, if Trump wins, you're going to see burn, loot, and murder all over the country. You're going to have all sorts of craziness. If Kamala Harris wins, then the government's just going to go, you know what? I'm putting in my confiscation of guns. We're putting price controls in. We're going to drive inflation through the roof. Either way, okay? I'm preparing. I'll never say prepared, okay? Because it's, like I said, this isn't a destination, it's a journey. I'm preparing for either situation. If I got to shoot my way out of this, if I've got to feed my way out of this, if they decide, you know what, we're sick and tired of the American people fighting back, we're shutting off the power. Go to hell. I create my own. Okay. Can anybody be 100%? No. I mean, who knows what they could do? I mean, I could have black SUVs show up in my driveway in the morning. I don't know. It's possible. The UN could come marching down the street. I'll collect a few helmets. They may collect mine. But, I mean, this is, as I've said to Mrs. P, this is a hill I'm prepared to die on. And I'm serious about that. Okay. Yes, I want to see grandkids one of these days or something like that. But I ain't living on my knees. That never been me, not gonna be, and that's it. Speaking of grandkids, sidebar real quick, because I know you guys have asked. PBJ finished her finals yesterday. She passed everything, so she has made it. The 75 people, she said they know of a few that are going to have to be recycled. They'll have to try again because they failed the class. They'll have to go back next summer. There's at least one person they think who failed 2 classes, which means they're kicked out of the program. But PBJ made it through hell semester, and so all's good. She's going to be here next weekend, so maybe she will make a cameo appearance next Saturday night, so we'll see. But proud dad. All right. Von Mousetrap, did I hear James Comer launched an investigation into Walz's ties with China? Yes, I did. And that's all great, okay? It's political posturing. That's pretty much all it is. I mean, you got to remember this, and I've heard numbers anywhere from 8 to 12. Tim Walz was not the first pick for Kamala Harris. And like I said this morning, the Democrats weren't going, you know what, we need an old fat white guy to put on there because that's the demographic we're missing. Okay. The party of DEI all over the place didn't go, we need an old white man. Right? Okay. He was the only one that's going, I have no political future, so hitching my ride to Kamala Harris and taking that tiny chance that maybe somehow she pulls it off, okay. As I said many times, Gavin Newsom, Gretchen Whitmer, they weren't doing it. They've got aspirations to go a lot bigger. And you see Gavin Newsom playing second fiddle to Kamala Harris, yeah, that'll happen. Okay. The greatest thing that ever happened to Josh Shapiro was he didn't get asked because then he didn't have to say no. and you know damn well he's going to come up and go, well, they passed me over last time because I was Jewish. So now if you want to put the first Jewish president in there, I mean, this is what's coming. So yeah, there are a whole bunch of people that said, hell no. I mean, how, again, like I said this morning, you got to pick somebody that's not as dynamic as you are. Trying to find somebody that's not as smart. I mean, Kamala Harris could have picked AOC. That one might have worked. But AOC had that dynamics. The stupidity part, they would have been fighting about. But, I mean, hell, why not pick Ilhan Omar? She could have picked Cori Bush. Hey, now we got a real black woman. But who knows? Yeah, the old white man. That was what the ticket needed, right? If you think about this, DEI, let's pick an old fat white guy. All right. Kilo 2 Bravo. Seems quite likely that the polls are deliberately being skewed to convince the weak when another election is stolen. Very possible. Tomato seed. Sorry. Dinner. I agree with you. If they keep showing that the polls are close, then the public will buy the 11th hour surge. Okay, we're not going to see another one of these again. It's like, oh crap, we got caught. What was it? Was it Nevada? Or was it Arizona or something like that? It came out this evening that they confirmed that they had something like 30,000 non-resident or non-citizen residents voted in 2020, all with the same social security number. Okay. 30,000 people. Trump lost Arizona. That was Arizona. Trump lost Arizona by what, 11,000, 12,000 votes, something like that. So we have now found out in the last week, 10 days or whatever, that Arizona was crooked and Georgia was crooked. So they're watching. Now, I saw something else today where somebody had gone in and found out that in one of these polling places that they only had 2 Republican poll watchers that had signed up. Now, this is the problem, and I've said this before, okay, and I've signed up to be a poll volunteer around here. I mean, you got to do it in your state. I mean, not that it's going to make a whole lot of difference, but I signed up anyway, just so they've got enough people. And there were 2 people that were registered Republicans signed up to be poll watchers. Well, if there is nobody that's willing to go out and do it, how easy are you making it for them to cheat? If you live in a blue city or a blue state, granted, I get it, election day's on a Tuesday, okay, people have to go to work. But a lot of the people that watch this channel are retired. Go take that, it's paid, by the way, you do get paid for some states. Go be a poll watcher. Go work the polls somehow. Go be the eyeballs to make sure that the cheat doesn't happen. Or if you don't want to do that, get together with whomever, the bingo group, and say, hey, you know what? We're going to go out and watch the boxes, the drop boxes for ballots, and we're going to do 2,000 mules, and every time somebody comes up, we're going to take video of them. And as long as you're standing something like 50 feet away, I don't think there's anything that's illegal about it. So go for it, But we know they're going to try to cheat. You cannot tell me that the Democrats are going, Kamala Harris is the second coming of Barack Obama, who was a disaster himself, okay? And she's not going to persuade people that she's a great candidate. 109 people at her rally in Asheville, North Carolina. Just saying. Flint McRock, best bumper sticker I've seen in a while. Alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. Sounds like, yes, I've seen this one a long time ago. Sounds like it should be a convenience store. Yes. That's an old sticker. Yeah, that one's been around for a while. A Krista Cat, I made tomato sauce today. Have 20 pounds of pears to work up tomorrow. My pears have gotten full size. They're still hard. And I'm like, okay, do I bring them in and see if they can ripen up on the counter? What do I want to do with them? Does Mrs. P want to, I think she wants to dehydrate a lot of them. I thought about making pear wine, but unless they're really juicy, it's not worth it. I'd rather have her dehydrate them and we can turn it into compote. If you don't know what compote is, it's you dehydrate the stuff and you put it in boiling water and you make like a tea out of it. Okay. Actually really good. Rose hips is something that's extremely good. It's huge in vitamin C. If you see rose hips in the store, buy a bag of dehydrated rose hips, keep those, and if you ever get a cold or something, drink that. You'll feel better quick. That was a trick she showed me. First time I ever had it, I had gotten a cold when I went to Russia. And she's like, oh, here, drink this. I'm like, what is it? And she's like, it's a compote. I'm like, what the hell is a compote? And she's like, well, you use this, and I forget what she called them. And we had to figure out what they were. It turns out it were rose hips. Who's the daddy? Coming to Tennessee this week for vacation. Going to visit Lynchburg and Gatlinburg. You are going to be hours and hours and hours away from me. Yeah, I mean, you're probably, well, Lynchburg. Yeah, you're not going to be anywhere close. So. Country Humans Network. Tomatoes are not fruiting or growing very fast. Been fed with 14, 14, 14 dry feed. Been upper 70s, not many high 80s. Not very humid this summer. You could have a temperature issue. Though the upper 70s, you should be fine. Here's the question. I mean, if you're obviously you need the water, okay? Tomatoes suck up a lot of water to grow, so you need that first off. But you're saying not fruiting. Are they flowering? Because if they're not flowering, if they are flowering, then you're not getting pollinators. If they aren't flowering, then you might just have bad seed. That's the only thing I can think of. You know, you've got a very weak strain of whatever variety of tomato you're growing. Neuron Web, are the deals still good for the toys that I mentioned last week? Well, I can go look real quick. Bear with me. It's up $50. Okay. So those of you that took advantage of it, it was 4. Now it's 4.5. So not quite as good, but it's still not a bad price. Let's see. 7 Customs. Hello from Wisconsin. What should I look for on my red, black, and white beans before I harvest them? Okay. I'm going to tell you how I do it. And maybe other people are going to do it different ways. Okay. I harvest them for dry beans. So literally what I am waiting for is those shells on the beans to be bone dry. And then I will bring them in. I mean, because I was out picking beans yesterday and my back paid for it. So I was out picking beans, and I would see in there, there's plenty of them that were completely dried out. You could almost take the bean and shake it, and it sounds like a little maraca or something. And there were plenty of them in there that were still green. There were plenty of them that were kind of there. I only want to pick the absolute dry ones. Then I just put them off to the side, spread them out so they're not on top of each other, and let them dry out for about a week. So those things are bone dry. And then I just sit on the front porch and I just shell them and get a bowl of dried beans. And then I don't have to, I put them in a mason jar, but I don't have to can them. And then they're just there as dried beans. If I want to use the beans or whatever, I can take out however many dried beans I want the night before, soak them the night before, and now I can make whatever I need to make fresh. So that's that's how I do it. So what you're looking for in the way I do it is a completely dry husk. Rick's Corner. Hey, Pinball, what's my thoughts on the DNC next week? Well, let's see. Politicians who are going there have been told not to, when they get their hotel rooms to not register under their real name. I want to know how that. Hi, I'm Nancy Pigface. Oh, okay. Ma'am, your name on your registration doesn't match your driver's license. But then again, we are talking about a blue city, so who cares about ID anyway? You got that. You got, now I'm hearing there's 100,000 people that are going to protest where Chicago was saying they were going to be able to keep them a half a mile away. But apparently that didn't work. So now you're going to be able to have these protesters that are right up. I have a feeling Chicago is going to look like 1968 all over again. Businesses are boarding up the businesses. I mean, remember Milwaukee a couple of weeks ago? The businesses going, cool, all these people coming in, great. The businesses in Chicago are going, crap, board up the businesses, tell everybody to take the week off, we're not opening. The black community in Chicago is livid. They're going to, I mean, besides the Palestinian protesters, you're also going to have a BLM protest. You're also going to have Antifa protesters. I mean, Chicago's going to be, I'm not saying count on it. I will tell you this, Illinois is not the walk in the park that Kamala Harris thinks it is. I mean, you got to remember, outside of Chicago, the rest of the state's basically red. Okay, you got a little bit up in the Quad Cities and down around Springfield, but that's it. But I mean, there's not that much. Chicago basically makes the state tip blue. There ain't a whole lot of black support, which is the majority of the population of the city, okay, for Kamala Harris. And that's going to get very interesting because if Trump gets anywhere near, say, 25% of the black vote nationwide, this election's over. I mean, that's it. Okay. So we'll see what happens. But it'd be interesting. Everybody keeps talking about, oh, Kamala Harris is going to win Wisconsin. She's going to win Michigan. She's going to win Pennsylvania, and it's over. She kind of forgetting about Virginia. There's some other states that nobody's talking about. I mean, they're talking about Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, and the Blue Wall. Okay. But they're not talking about Virginia. If she wins Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin and loses Virginia, she still loses. Okay. I don't think she's going to win Pennsylvania for sure. Michigan and Wisconsin are a little iffy. Michigan's probably the iffiest one of them all. But we'll see. But it's going to be, I'm still hoping that at 9 o'clock at night on November 5th, when AP calls Pennsylvania, and then you just start seeing the dominoes. Because as I've told you many times before, if Trump wins Pennsylvania and Georgia, it's over. You don't have to watch anything else. The race is over. He's over 270, provided Wyoming and Utah and everybody still go red. That's a lot of why I think Pennsylvania came out and said, oh, we don't think we're going to be able to have all the votes counted by the end of the night, because the Democrats know that too. If they can't figure out how to cheat in Pennsylvania, it's over. All that hardware and no bug assault, Kevin Grip. Yeah, I can say, oh, okay. Just shoot it right off my hat, right? Inigo Montoya, Pinball's take on vests of the Kevlar variety, which is what I was talking about earlier when I said I've got a couple other things, a couple other videos that I'm going to do that are in the works right now. Yeah, I do own them, and I do support having them. If you can afford level 4, go for it. I've got level 3 plus, which is good enough for what I think. But I mean, I'll get into all this when I get in the video. I mean, it's almost a false sense of security. A vest. Okay, don't get me wrong, they're good. Okay, but remember when I was doing the video yesterday? I guess it was when I put it up, and I was talking about trajectory. Now you figure you've got a vest on, and it's covering you basically from about collarbone down to belly button. Well, are you 150 or are you 300 yards away? If it's covering me from collarbone and somebody's aiming center mass, and like I said, it hits me in the throat, I got nothing there. If it's got a 6-inch, rise in it, and now it hits me in the nose, I got no cover there. Yeah, it's good. It's going to protect your back, your chest, okay? But you're going to get, if you get shot in the leg, yeah, that ain't going to, you're not going, gee, it's just a flesh wound. No, this ain't the movies. So good to have, yes, but don't be like, oh my God, now I'm Rambo. No. Pat Martinez, how can I get rid of toadstools in my lawn? Stop all the rain. That's it. Yeah. Mushrooms and stuff like that come up when we get heavy rains. So that's it. It's just a lot of water all at once. Soul Reaper Pinball, do I have a lot of flies or gnats in your house? We have an infestation of them here, literally by the thousands. Fly paper will be completely covered in days. Flies, no. We'll get them a couple of times. The little gnats, yeah, they, not an infestation or whatever, but enough that I'll be sitting in front of my computer or whatever, and when I'm walking on the screen. I live in the woods. I accept the fact that I'm going to have bugs. The ones that bother the crap out of me are when we get the stink bugs and the ladybugs, or whatever you want to call them, when they all come out. Those are the ones that are irritating as crap. And they last for about a week, and I'm running around with the little handheld vacuum, vacuuming off the windows, the corners of the wall, and everything like that, because they're trying to find someplace in the walls in the house to overwinter. So, yeah. Kevin Little, Pinball, I'll email you a tasty tomato wine recipe I've made before. That sounds interesting. Yeah, I'll try. I can make up a half gallon of that or something like that. Sure, that'd be interesting. Can't see why it wouldn't work. It ferment like anything else. Fastball 2611, Pinball, the wife is drying out some green string beans for seeds. Will it work for planting next year? Yes. Well, maybe. If you want to save for seed, you basically need to let them dry on the vine. Okay, just like I was talking about 5 minutes ago about how I harvest my black beans, my white beans, whatever. Same thing with green beans. You want to let them dry on the vine, because what we eat as green beans is the immature fruit. Now you got to remember what a plant's idea is. Its whole purpose is to reproduce. So if you leave the green bean plant alone, it'll grow its green beans. Green beans will dry out. Those seeds will drop out of the pods, and they will be the children. Okay. You want to harvest those seeds when they are dried on the vine, when they are now viable seeds. It's like I was telling you guys about a year ago or so when I was talking about harvesting cucumbers. We eat cucumbers when they're green. That's the immature fruit. When the cucumber is golden yellow, that's when it's mature. It tastes like crap, but that's when it's mature, and that's when the seeds are viable. You go take seeds out of a green cucumber and try to plant it, you're getting nothing. You need to wait until that thing is basically overripe. Same with your beans. Disney Mom 5 finally got our Berkey, but no replacement filters. Anyone use an off-brand, or should I wait until they're in stock? You need to find an off-brand, and go look on YouTube. There's people that have shown how to make your own and things like that. Uh, I I have, I forget what it's called. We've got a Berkey, a travel Berkey or something like that, a little one. It's not something we use every day. It just sits up in the storeroom in case we ever need it. Uh, but there was an issue in the last, I mean, it's been about a year now with Berkey and their filters and things like that. So if you find whatever you can, get them. But how long they are going to be in stock, they may never come back. I don't know. I don't follow the whole story on it. I really don't pay attention to it. But look at that yourself. Broken Dolly saw a video making wine from fresh pineapple. You ever tried it? Sounds interesting. Pineapple doesn't grow in Tennessee, so no. I mean, sure. I mean, you can make it out of any fruit. I mean, that's not a problem. I mean, I told you guys I made plum wine. I made strawberry wine. You can make it out of any fruit, but going to the store and buying pineapples to make wine, it's not, you know. And again, you got to remember what you're getting when you need the juice. Okay. A lot of the times when you're buying the fruit, how many guys have gone to the store and bought peaches or nectarines or plums, and you bite into it and there's no taste, no juice, you know, but it still looks like a plum or a peach or a nectarine or a pineapple. It's because they're picked when they're green, and then they are artificially ripened so they look pretty in the store, but they taste like shit. You know, the stuff I'm making is out of the stuff I'm growing, and so I can get them at when they're ripe, not picking when they're green so they look pretty on the shelf. Off-grid living, 7.2 earthquake off Russia, yeah, off the Kamchatka Peninsula. That is on the same one that I was telling you about, 5 days ago or whatever, where you had the earthquake down in the southeast, off the southeast coast of Japan. And then they were saying that where the next one was going to hit was off the northwest coast. Well, the northwest coast of Japan is basically right near the Kamchatka Peninsula. So yes, you got the same one over there. James Farmer, what do I think of a lever rifle, 1895? Good to have, okay? If it's what you're, I mean, I've got a couple of them hanging up on the wall over here. If it's what you're comfortable using, get it. I mean, any weapon is better than no weapon. Now, certainly has weaponry changed and improved since the advent of a lever rifle? Sure, okay. But if it's what you got, it's what you got. And no question, it's fun to go out and play John Wayne. You know, it's like, okay, and then, you know, you're done. But, you know, this, don't try to spin the stuff and all that. That's kind of crazy, but I guess it works. But, you know, no, I'm not riding a horse and spinning a rifle so I can do it. Circe, good evening, Pinball. What's the best way to amend soil in the fall for spring? Western Mass, still waiting to harvest. Slow season, weird. Usually sick of tomatoes, just ripening. Again, best thing to do, and this doesn't matter where you are in the fall, grass clippings, leaves, the weeds, anything that you've got, your plants, save potatoes. I mean, that I wouldn't use potatoes. But I mean, you're picking your peppers, you're picking your tomatoes. Shred all that up with a lawnmower, or, I mean, if you want to just tear it up with your hands or whatever, mix it with grass clippings, mix it with leaves, all of it, and just dump it on the top of the garden and let it rot right there in the garden. It'll feed all the earthworms, any of the bugs that are in there over the winter. You being up in Mass, you're going to get the snow. That will just help it better. You're adding brain fart. I can't think of what the word I'm looking for, but biological mass. I can't think of what I'm looking for. Organic material. There we go. To your garden. That's what you want to do. That's the best way to amend your soil. I mean, it's not chemicals, it's not nothing. Everything that the plant has taken out of the soil throughout the year was either put into the fruit or put into that plant. If you can put that plant back into the soil, you're replenishing some of the nutrients. And that just means less that you're going to have to use in the way of chemicals or other amendments. Again, you heard me say many times, eggshells, coffee grounds, chicken bones, banana peels, if you got them, that is an absolute great long-term soil amendment. Put that down. I put it down twice a year. I put it down in the fall. I put it down in the spring. And it's constantly feeding. Again, it's food for the earthworms. It the waste product, the waste we throw away that is usable is unbelievable. You know, I mean, as long as you don't use chemicals on your lawn, you know, you're fine throwing it in the compost pile, in the garden, whatever. You're good. I mean, if you spray your lawn with Roundup, don't compost your grass clippings. But if you're using just 10-10-10 or whatever on your lawn, you're fine. So, okay, we talked about the DNC. Laura's story, where did you get your garlic originally to grow? Can I use it from the grocery? That's exactly where I got it from, is the grocery store. I mean, I went into the grocery, I bought bulk garlic, broke it up, don't take the paper off, just break it up into separate cloves, plant your garlic about an inch deep, point up, plant it in the fall, and you'll harvest around, at least for me, around the 4th of July, maybe a little bit earlier. You don't have to go out and spend $8 a head of garlic for some of these things online or whatever. You don't need to. Remember when you're buying bulk stuff in the store, you know, especially around here, for example. If I go to the store and buy bulk garlic, chances are that garlic was grown locally. So that garlic has, or I mean, any vegetable, has already somewhat acclimatized itself to the weather conditions. Now, your soil is going to be different than wherever it was farmed, and just go for tomatoes or cucumbers or whatever. But if you're growing something that is already somewhat acclimatized to your area, you're going to be better off to start. Then with garlic, just make sure you till in a couple inches, you know, you don't have to till it in, but I mean, at least turn in to your soil when you're prepping it, a couple inches worth of compost, so it's got some good rich soil there. And just, I mean, plant it, like for me, it's between, you know, Halloween and Thanksgiving. I plant it. Don't worry if it starts growing in the fall. It probably will if you get a warm, because I mean, we have times it's still 60 degrees on Christmas here, and we get times it's 2. Don't worry if it grows. Just let it go. You don't have to give it haircuts. You don't have to do nothing. Just leave it in the ground. Leave it alone. That's it. And, you know, you'll be good. Go harvest it early summer. Joe Green, I'm more a cause and effect guy. Very good insight. Yeah, I pay attention to the cause and I figure out what the effect is going to be, but I try that's I appreciate the compliment. I believe it's a compliment. You know, I try to watch and see if I can predict what the outcome of the bad decisions are. MD Ambrosia, can you say hi to the Lango family? Pinball, we love you. Hi, Lango family. Glad you guys are here. Leo Miranda, thank you for the super chat. This is for Mrs. P's Wildlife Fund. Yes, everything that lived can be composted. Compost everything you can. Yes, Mrs. P's Wildlife Fund will not start again until probably somewhere around Thanksgiving, as is, because in the summertime, with the exception of hummingbird food, God knows how much sugar I go through making hummingbird food. But yeah, I mean, the squirrels and everything like that, there's plenty for them to get out there. But come winter, she's like, well, we got to feed the squirrels. You know, and then it's like, okay, the birds need food. And it's like, okay, so I got, you know, birds are going to hell with flying south. We'll just eat here. So, East Tennessee Mike, what foods and crap. Shot to the bottom. Let's see if I can find where it was. I'm going to try. Maybe I can. Nope, and I didn't read it far enough. Sorry, Mike, it didn't, I can't get any further up in the chat, so, and I get way behind. You guys know that 20 minutes behind. Meemaw Prepper, I'd like to see Election Day swapped out for Juneteenth for a holiday so everyone can vote without hassles. I 100% agree with you, okay? Uh, I understand why originally they made it on a Tuesday, okay? We need to do one of two things. Either we need to make that Tuesday a federal holiday, not to the point of being a federal holiday, but a mandatory holiday where Walmart has to close, where the grocery stores have to close, and literally the only thing that's open is the police departments, the fire departments, and hospitals. That's it. Okay. Not this, gee, we're making it a government holiday and the government employees all get the day off. Great, they all vote Democrat anyway, and the rest of us all have to go to work. No, this is where everything's closed that day. Okay, that's the way that needs to be. Or we do it on Saturday and change election day like a lot of companies do or countries do. I do that all the time, and make it on the weekends. So one of the two, but I agree with you. And Juneteenth is a bullshit holiday anyway. Neuron Web, please send the link for the toys. I cannot do that. If you want me to, email me. If I put it on here, they will give me a strike on the channel. So you cannot put links to any sort of toy pages. Let's just leave it that way. S. Cook, Mr. P, some of the pears stay hard. We call them sand pears here in coastal Alabama. They stay pretty hard. The man at the extension office said they get grainy if they stay on the tree too long. Okay, maybe I'll go pick them. I mean, see what happens. We'll give it a shot. I mean, before the deer get the rest of them. Let's see. Romy Davis, my tomatoes never turned red. Any idea? Okay, if you got tomatoes on the plant and they've not turned red, then they're not gassing themselves. You can pick them when they're green, bring them in, put them in a brown paper grocery bag or whatever, and throw a banana in there with them. Okay, I know this sounds totally goofy, but the ethylene gas off of the banana will force the tomato to start to ripen. Once you get one tomato to ripen, the ethylene that tomato puts off will help your other tomatoes to ripen. But you can start with a banana. J.S. Thomas, security cameras, wired or Bluetooth, which is best? Live in a suburban area. Depends, okay? They both have their pros and cons. Now, if you've got Bluetooth and, especially if you got ones that are hooked up to the internet or something like that, well, if the web goes out, your cameras are useless. Okay. The wireless ones that I've got, okay, they're great, except you have to remember to go out and change those batteries all the time. Okay. And depending on where you put your cameras or your cameras, which I'd suggest high enough where people can't reach them, that gets to be a pain in the ass. You're running around with a chair or a step ladder or a stool or something like that, running around changing batteries every 4 or 5 days. Obviously motion detected, but like my one on my front porch, I got the flag on the front porch, and people say, well, you can block out that section. Well, that's about head height walking up my stairs. I need that section. So you want to do that. Wired batteries or wired cameras, great. The problem is I can't put those out in my yard, out by my shed or something, where I can wireless. So they've both got their pros and cons, and it's like everything else. You got to assess your situation and go, okay, where do I want to put them? Gee, if I want to put them on the 4 corners of my house, okay, maybe I could do a wired system because it's all going to be closed. But then how are you going to run the wires? Okay, got a 2-floor house, 2-story house. You're going to start drilling holes in the walls. The wife will kill you. Okay, probably not. So then a wireless winds up easier. If you're building the house, and they haven't done any land work or anything like that, I'd run wire all over the place, because then you can plug it in to the grid, you can plug it into backup power or whatever. So A lot of variables there. Both are good. They each have their own purpose. Kevin Little, my pepper plants are thriving now. A bunch of yellow jackets have been eating all the aphids. They're so happy they leave me alone. There you go. Yeah, and we're starting to get to the point of where uh, the peppers are starting to come in. I picked first couple of bell peppers the other day. Uh, and got those going. We've been picking banana peppers and Marconis. I didn't even plant Marconis, and I've got a couple of volunteer plants this year, but they're producing, so I just picked the peppers. And then our lunchbox peppers are doing great, but those I need to wait until they turn red, yellow, orange. Otherwise, they're not sweet when they're green. So, Prep Rebel, thank you for the contribution for Mrs. B's Next Wildlife Fund. That'll cover a couple of months. Thank you. So appreciate that. Let's see. Suze or Suz. Where'd it go? Here we go. I'm growing watermelon. And even though I plant normal watermelon, the insides always turn out yellow and not very sweet. How do I make the insides red? You're not getting enough water to your watermelons. That's the problem. Watermelons need a boatload of water. And they need consistent water. You can't let the soils go dry or anything like that. What you're having, you got to remember, most plants ripen from the inside out, okay? And if your watermelon is staying that white on the inside, it's not ripening correctly. And that's because it just doesn't have enough water, it doesn't have enough nutrients. So I would certainly hit your gardens with some liquid phosphorus fertilizer so the plants can take it up, and make sure you are giving it more water than you're giving it. MD Ambrosia, I love you. Can you say hi to the Lango family? I think we already did. That was one before. So hello again, Lango family. LG girl, in a Trump boat parade on Lake George today. Not all New York is blue. Well, New York City and Albany, pretty much, but pretty much the rest of New York, I believe, is red. I mean, you got to remember this. The DNC, if you go look at a map, Joe Biden supposedly won, it was like 400 counties in the country. That was it, okay? Trump won like 3,400. All the concentration of idiot liberals is in the cities. I mean, sure, there's some. I mean, we've got a few out around me, and everybody knows, okay, there's the dumbass who hasn't learned how to think at age 60 yet. But, I'm a liberal. You're an idiot. But yeah, I mean, I totally get you that not all of New York is blue. Not all of Illinois is blue. I mean, go west of about Lowell in Massachusetts, and the rest of the state's red. Okay, like I said about Tennessee. Tennessee's red. Trashville is blue. Memphis is blue, and the rest of the state's right here. So, Tau 313, you speak about drop boxes. Florida has an official and 2 volunteers and on camera. Also, state law, you can only drop off 3 ballots. You can look up your vote. Never did, but you can. Yeah, there's a lot of laws like that go back to 2020. And I mean, again, if you haven't watched the movie 2,000 Mules, go watch it. There's laws all over the place. You're only allowed to drop 2 ballots, and here comes somebody with 40. They didn't do anything to them. Yet you have an official and volunteers on there. Right. As long as the official's not playing on his phone, the volunteers actually show up, and these people that are stuffing ballot boxes, they're going, cool, the volunteer went to lunch. Now is my time to drop it. Okay. Yvonne Berger, all we need is Pennsylvania. Yeah, as long as Georgia flips, we're good. But if, like I've said, for 6 months, if we get Georgia and Pennsylvania, it's over. And I'm counting. I think Georgia should be in the bag. I still think Georgia was completely crooked last time. So, Janet West, here in Central Virginia, you only see Trump signs. Yeah, it's the problem with Virginia is it's the coast. I mean, that's the issue there is like everything else. You've got all these. I'm gonna get you, son of a bitch. Hang on. Got him. Good. There you go. If you ever want to catch flies, just know they have to go vertical. So if you get your hands up above them about 4 inches, do that, they'll jump right in your hands. Some of the stupid stuff I know, right? What is the best way to store seeds? Put them in a paper envelope that can breathe, and stick them in a dark drawer. That's it. You don't have to put them in plastic bags. You don't have to put. You can. Plastic bags aren't going to be a big deal. You don't have to put them in the freezer or anything like that. Just put them in a dark spot, and that's it. I know, 9:59. JD Marie, Pinball, where did I find a vest in your size? Want one? Spartan Arms. Trying to see if at 10 o'clock. Do I have secondary iron? Probably saying, do I have secondary iron sights? Absolutely. I'm not going to take the iron sights off the rifle. No way. Because, a red dot's going to run out of battery. If that battery, I didn't mention this in the video. If you're going to buy a red dot, make sure you buy one that is rechargeable. Do not buy one that you've got to replace batteries in, because unless you're going to collect a whole bunch of these little round watch type batteries, forget it. Get one that's rechargeable. But yeah, no, I absolutely wouldn't take the iron sights off. No way in the world. I need something as a backup. So, all right, guys, that's 10 o'clock. Good one tonight. Have a good one. We'll see you in the morning. Pinball out.